RPGs are by far my favorite genre, with no contest. Within that genre, I might play anything from Dark Souls to Path of Exile to Kingdom Come Deliverance, and plenty of others. But every once in a while, I'll be in the mood to play something turn-based. I have many good memories playing turn-based games when I was a kid on my Game Boy, especially Pokemon, or even playing modern-day gems like Fear and Hunger. I've been in the mood for a really good but also really difficult turn-based game, and I've searched far and wide, going through forums, watching videos, going through lists for multiple days. Well, it came down between two games, and eventually, after reading so many good things about it, I decided. I'm Sam the Ashen, and this is Battle Brothers. The other game I narrowed down my search to was Shin Megami Tensei V, and I was actually fortunate enough to play a free trial on PlayStation. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was certainly difficult on hard mode, and while it was fun, and I might even buy it at a later date, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So not being totally satisfied with this is what actually pushed me to go ahead and buy Battle Brothers. And thank God I did, because it is quite the game. Battle Brothers is a difficult medieval turn-based RPG where you gather men, roam the world, take on contracts for cities to make money, fighting enemies along the way to make your crew stronger, with a lot of cool events along the way. The gameplay loop, and really the game altogether, isn't too different from Mount & Blade Warband and Bannerlord, which are two games that I really love and have put hundreds of hours into over the years. Besides the art style and some other small things, the main difference is Battle Brothers being turn-based. While the gameplay reminds me of Mount & Blade, the graphic and sprite style remind me of Salt and Sanctuary, which is a game that I really love. The sequel, Salt and Sacrifice, not so much. Battle Brothers really is quite the all-rounder. The combat is really fun and challenging. It can seem unfair at times, but I would say there's always a strategy that you can use to succeed. So even though it's hard, it's nice to know that the fault was with me, which means it's something I can fix and improve. Characters gain experience and level up with 8 stats to put points into each time you level up. On top of that, there are perks to unlock so that you can build your characters into specific roles to help your team. You can build tanks, spearmen, rangers, duelists, hybrids, and more. I love being able to get experience from fights, leveling characters, especially party-based teams, and not only being able to level certain stats over others, but also being able to pick perks to build your character even further. Battle Brothers excels at this system. Combat is definitely at the forefront of Battle Brothers. There are multiple layers to the combat, and I'm sure there are even more layers that I don't know about, but some of them are gear, character builds, terrain, height vantage points, formation, initiative, morale, and many other things that are affected by perks like hit chance. Gear is really important in Battle Brothers, and you can usually tell what stage of the game you're at by the gear you're wearing and the gear your opponents are wearing. You might have some of your characters striving for better heavy gear to tank hits, while your DPS characters work on taking out the most important enemies. Your DPS might be a mix of heavy and light, and your rangers will probably just have light armor to save on fatigue, which is a character resource that is crucial to battles. You build up fatigue by moving tiles, using actions, and you might have some fatigue saving perks and even character traits that give extra fatigue, or a weaker character trait that hurts stats. Terrain can vary from deep snow to overgrown forest to clear meadows. You have a set amount of action points each turn, and moving tiles cost action points, and it costs even more if it's difficult terrain or if you're changing heights. Having a height advantage though is pretty important, so there's all these trade-offs. Another aspect is formation, which is how you place your men in relation to each other. You might have a front line of tanks and DPS with DPS polearm characters behind them because their weapons can reach 2 tiles. Or you might have a beefy shield wall. Or you might have a concave formation and try to lure enemies into the center to surround them. There's plenty of tactical options on how to arrange your men. There's also initiative and morale. Initiative is how early you get to your turn compared to everyone else, and morale is how each character feels. Whether it's bad morale from starving on the road and losing a fight, and then you get some debuffs to your stats, or being well supplied and winning fights, which makes your characters confident, which gives a pretty major stat boost. Morale changes throughout the fight depending on how it's going, and you can influence this further by leveling Resolve. The game has an economy system where you can buy trade goods from smaller production towns and sell them for higher prices at bigger cities. A settlement might have ambushed trade routes, which causes their selling prices and their buying prices to be higher. You have to worry about keeping stocked up on food, tools to repair gear, medicine to let your men heal their wounds, and gold for everything else. You can even buy war dogs to aid you in battle. The game has 3 major DLCs that you can buy. These DLCs range from $10 to $15, and the game itself costs $30 if it's not on sale. So on one hand, it can be a bit of an investment to have the complete package, but on the other hand, it's about the same price you would pay for a modern game nowadays. Also, on the other hand, you do have everything you need for many hours in just the base game. The DLC are just awesome enhancers. My one complaint with that is that I wish they would add the crafting aspect to the main game instead of requiring you to buy the Beast and Exploration DLC, but in the end, it's worth it. The other 2 DLCs add new contracts and new enemies, bigger northern and southern regions, and even arenas. Overall, Battle Brothers is an incredible turn-based RPG, and I'm really glad that I decided to give it a try, because at first, I really didn't consider it much. It's got a great sense of exploration, adventure, satisfying leveling, rewarding difficulty, and a great feeling of taking your mercenary company from a small ragtag group to a world-renowned, unstoppable force. People online everywhere give the game a ton of praise and say that they've spent hundreds of hours in this game, and I can see why. The one possible downside that comes with most sandbox games is a lack of direction or a linear main story. The game has missions and events that guide you in a certain direction, but ultimately it's kind of a make your own adventure. I personally haven't found this much of a downside, but I could certainly see some people not preferring this. If you like turn-based games or even difficult medieval games, I would recommend Battle Brothers. I really appreciate you watching the video. If you enjoyed it, like the video. If you want to see more from me, subscribe. I post once every other week on Sunday, so I'll never clog up your feed. I hope you have a good one. Peace out.